One of the #1 questions I'm asked is how much do strongmen make? And today, I'm gonna answer that for you. Now, I'm not gonna tell you how much I make, that's my business, but I am gonna tell you about the financial opportunities if you're #1 and win everything, or if you're, say, 5th in the world, what does that look like? We're gonna compare that to other sports and other jobs that other big muscular people could do. So if you're at home, you're thinking, maybe I could pursue strongman. Let's talk about, is that the best choice? Maybe, maybe not, you'll find out. People ask all the time, is strongman your full-time job? And my answer is sort of. It could be, but I also do other things. Of course, you guys know about the LHBK line. The shop is down below. You know about the coaching that I do. The link is down in the description. But YouTube is another way that a lot of us make money. I mean, Eddie Hall has gone that way and done extremely well on YouTube and Facebook. He also has Beast Pharma, his new supplement line. You've got Brian Shaw, who's social media, and he does Evolution Athletics. You've got Thor, who got onto Game of Thrones and had a huge break with that. A lot of us have sponsors who help us out along the way and turn us into marketers of sorts. You've got strength and conditioning coaches, Thomas Evans, University of Delaware. There are numerous guys at the top who are coaching strongman. There's multiple apparel brands, myself, the Stoltmans have a good one as well. Kevin Ferris has one, pound for pound. We've got a McDonald's manager who came 4th in the world this year in Matthew Ragg. And we've got Evan Singleton, who came 3rd at Worlds this year, who works part-time at a gun range. So a lot of us love the sport to death, but can't quite turn it into full-time income. And I'm gonna walk you through why. So we're gonna talk about lumberjacks, powerlifters, rugby players, and football players, the 4 things that would probably have very similar body types to strongmen. Now, powerlifting has the most crossover. People often call me a powerlifter. I take no offense, but powerlifting, just squat, bench, and deadlift, multiple federations, multiple different big competitions, but there's 2 that stand out with big prize money. One is Sheffield, which is drug tested, IPF rules, that's knee sleeves, not knee wraps. The best lifter there wins about $30,000. Now, the other one is an untested federation where you wear knee wraps, put up some of the biggest numbers and the biggest totals ever to be lifted, and that's called Big Dogs. Big Dogs 5 is coming up very soon, but in previous Big Dogs, they've split up a $26,000 prize pool amongst the competitors, somewhere between 6 and 10. You break that down, the winner might be in for 10 to 15,000 Australian dollars. Not the most lucrative thing in the world. So powerlifting might not be the best bet. You're the best in the world. You might be making $56,000 a year. There's some sponsorship, but it's certainly not gonna be a great guaranteed full-time income. Let's talk lumberjack sports. Now in these, there's different competitions and different events. Basically, how fast can you either chop wood or cut wood with a chainsaw? It was really hard to find any sort of good information on this. We found some figures from 1,000 to 5,000 when you do well in a show. We saw something that said the best guy in the world makes about 100,000, but it certainly seems a lot more like a hobby sport than something that people actually do to make a living. Let's talk about some big ones now. Rugby is one of the most popular sports in the world. Surely the big men in rugby are taken care of. Now in rugby, you've got the backs, which are the small, more agile guys. Then you have the forwards, which are the bigger, stronger guys. Amongst the forwards, you have the front row, and that's where a strongman type build would come in. So how much do front rowers get paid where rugby is the biggest over in England? Now I know you'll contest that. I'm sure it's bigger somewhere else, but we're just talking about England. Now, finally, we've come across a sport where the big men are reliably paid well. Front rowers in rugby league, average of 150,000. Finally, we're at a livable wage. Let's go on to the biggest fish to fry. If you're a big man and you want to make money, we're talking about the NFL. Now, the NFL is probably every big man's dream. And I'm sure a lot of us are sitting on the couch saying, I could probably play a season. I know I definitely say that. Now, they don't garner the same amounts of money like the 5-year, $500 million contract that Patrick Mahomes signed. But the average NFL offensive lineman takes home $1.5 million a year. And the floor for that, for anyone who's played more than 1 year, is $900,000 US, more than a livable wage. And now we're talking about professional athletes. Now, let's talk about big man jobs. The first one we came up with was a mover, which garners a modest salary of $40,000. A step up from that, as a security guard, you'll make, on average, $45,000. Step up from that, we're talking a bouncer. You're going to make $50,000 on average. Then we go to the public sector jobs, and there's two where strong, fit, capable men seem to thrive. That's firefighting and policing. Now, with firefighting, they make an average of $71,000 a year, with of course a lot of upside and the perk of some time off of the job. Last, we have police, and that is an average of $90,000 to protect and serve our community. Now, remember those numbers in a minute. When I start talking about strongman, how much does the best in the world have to make? And what's it like if you're fifth and you come fifth at every show? I think you'd be pretty surprised by the answer. Bodybuilders, they absolutely destroy themselves. Diet, training, commit their life. If you're the best in the world, that means you win the Olympia. Winning the Olympia garners $400,000. The other big show for them is the Arnold, which is $300,000 to win. That's $700,000 if you're the top in the world and you win both the Olympia and the Arnold. But the vast majority of Olympia winners don't go to the Arnold because it's so hard to get in good shape for these shows. That means $700,000. That's the cap in bodybuilding. At the other IFBB Pro shows, to win, we're talking maybe $20,000 for the open men's bodybuilding division. Now, I'm gonna compare this more directly to strongman, but we're gonna talk about first and fifth. Now, if you came fifth at the Olympia, that means $50,000 for you. You come fifth at the Arnold, that means $20,000. That's $70,000 as a pro bodybuilder, fifth in the world. That would be hard to live on, definitely, with everything that you need to put yourself through. Now, that's just for open men's bodybuilding. In these smaller classes, to win Olympia, we're talking $50,000. Chris Bumstead made less than the winner of World's Strongest Man, which we'll talk about in a minute. And if you're winning the Arnold, that's $60,000, a little bit better. But if you're winning a pro show in a smaller class, that's not the Olympia or the Arnold, you're only making $5,000 per show. Bodybuilding is a very, very hard grind. Do you think strongman's gonna be better or worse? Pop that in the comments and let's get to the meat of it. In professional strongman, we have one huge benefit over other individual sports like bodybuilding, even like CrossFit, and that we can compete so often. So we have 4 major shows each year: World's Strongest Man, the Arnold, the Rogue Invitational, and the Strongest Man on Earth, formerly known as the Shaw Classic. We also have 5 Giants Live shows this year. Now, Giants Live is coming to America for the first time. World Deadlift Champs over in Vegas. If you haven't got your tickets already, head over to the Giants Live website. Let's make the first North American show in a long time a success so that we can have more Giants Live over in North America. That gives us 9 reasonable opportunities to compete each year. Let's break down each show and how much they pay. Now let's start first with the biggest prize in Strongman. You might be surprised, it's actually not World's Strongest Man. World's Strongest Man isn't even the second highest paying. It's the Rugby Invitational, which came about a few years back, and the prize last year to win was $147,000. This year, it's down to $115,000, but it tends to grow over time. Now, $147,000 to get you started for a good year, that is very, very good. I'm gonna cover as well if you don't do as well and you come 5th, but let's stick with the thread of coming first. $147,000 for the Rogue Invitational. When we go to the second best paying show, that is the Arnold Strongman Classic. To win that is $80,000. Next, World's Strongest Man. It's been published online. They don't love us to talk about it, so I'm only saying what you can find online already. It's around $75,000 posted online. That's close to the correct number. There's 3 of the 4 major shows. The last one's the Shaw Classic, which is growing very quickly. Like I said, rebranded as the Strongest Man on Earth. Last year, it was somewhere around $60,000, $70,000. Brian won it and redistributed it back to the pool. So I'm not exactly sure how much the first place pool allocation was, but that has grown every year, and I think that will quickly become the highest paying show in Strongman. Now our peak is $512,000 if you win everything. That makes it seem incredibly lucrative, but let's talk if you came 5th and competed in all 9 significant paying competitions a year. The Arnold, highest paying prize purse, $80,000 for first, $13,000 for 5th. World's Strongest Man, again, you can find this information online, sometimes wildly accurate, sometimes wildly inaccurate, somewhere around $10,000 for 5th place. At the Shaw Classic, $13,000 for 5th place, so actually tied for the highest paying show amongst all of these if you were to come 5th, which is one of the best things about the Shaw Classic. If you go there, you know that you're going to actually make a reasonable wage. Next up is the Rogue Invitational. You get $9,200 for coming in 5th place. And lastly, Giants Live, you get a few grand for coming in 5th place. That means that $512,000 total. If you came 5th in every single show, you're making somewhere around $60,000 for the year. Now, I told you to keep one number in mind, which was the number of average jobs. $60,000 to go travel around the world, put your body through a lot of stress, a lot of damage, and that gets you the very similar wage to a bouncer. It's $10,000 more, but bouncer's a normal job. You can be home with your family, etc. Perfect. That actually felt really clean. So that is the value proposition of becoming a pro strongman. Do you think it's worth it? Pop in the comments what you think. Of course, we have other revenue streams and sponsors and other opportunities, but strictly prize money, very dangerous thing to rely on. Where do you think the sport's headed? It has grown so much in the last few years. Hopefully prize money keeps going up, but we all need to create that backstop for ourselves. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Pop a moose trapping in the comments if you have nothing else to say. And thank you very much for watching this long. As always, subscribe, lift heavy, be kind. We'll catch you in the next video.